I need you to watch these two videos I'm about to present to you right now.
In 1990, when the talk started, that Dada, you are going to postpone the revolution the way you are going in your deliberations at CODESA. 20 years from the day we hoist this freedom flag, the people will be back in the streets demonstrating against us with the same memoranda we carried to the wars. You have postponed the revolution. Dada, it will be a dummy freedom we are going to give people because the revolution will repeat itself. We quarreled with Madiba even about the negotiations, right at the negotiation table. I was the one who felt that we had over-negotiated. In the process, we lost it. And I warned at the time that we over-negotiated, and the truth was we may have lost the land again in the process. Our struggle was a struggle for land. It was all about the return of the land to the owners of the land, not the silly notion of driving the white man to the sea. The notion of fighting back to get back our land. And the problem at the time, which I foresaw, and we disagreed with Madiba over it, we say, yes, you say, let us negotiate. In the process of negotiation, we say the land belongs to all who live in it. The doors of landing shall be open. Now, how were we going to buy the land back from those who had stolen it? Because we were not going to seize the land back without compensation. There would have been grave consequences if we had done that. The would still be continuing to this day. I believed that perhaps something went wrong when we were negotiating, when we over-negotiated, and we could have probably reached other decisions other than the willing seller, willing buyer. What were we going to buy the land with? But it was not to be. We were rushing. We wanted to raise the flag of freedom, and we accommodated minorities in the process. And I warned Madiba, I said, it's not going to work. We have fought with these people at grassroots level. We know them. We know them better than the leadership that was incarcerated for years on Robben Island. We understood them better. And it was the children of 1976 who turned the tide of history around, who said, enough is enough. You're not going to teach us history of our land in Afrikaans. We are done. Then we embarked on the armed struggle. But then when we went to CODESA, we had already disbanded the military wing of the ANC, Umkhonto. So therefore, we ought to have looked at the types of agreements that were not going to sell the country back to the owners of the means of production.
That family is Mama Zanyiwe Nomzamo Winifred Madikizela Mandela, or as many people call her, Mama Winnie Mandela. Rest in peace, Mama Winnie Mandela. We honor you and we thank you for everything you've done for South Africa. And Mama was right. Mama was right. Mama saw the future. She knew, and she told them, but they didn't understand. Or they didn't listen. She did not like the way these CODESA negotiations were going on. She did not like the way the ANC and other black representatives were negotiating for South Africa with the white man. She did not like that. She did not like that. She did not like the way the black people were negotiating in a very careless, in a very fast way without even thinking about South Africa in the long run. She did not like that. She did not agree with the willing buyer, willing seller arrangement when it comes to African land, because she did not understand how Africans were going to buy back the land that was stolen from them by white people. Like, it wasn't logical, because how can you tell me that for an African to access back their land that was stolen by white people, they have to go to the same white man and buy it from them? Surely, how does that make sense? And you're saying that you're negotiating. What are you negotiating if those are the things that you're agreeing to? So she did not like the negotiations. And she said that if you guys continue to negotiate the way you're negotiating at that particular moment, that you will give South Africa a dummy freedom. She told them that before 1994. She told them, including her husband, Nelson Mandela, she told Nelson Mandela, if you guys continue to negotiate the way you're negotiating right now, you people will give South Africa a dummy freedom. South Africa wasn't given real freedom. Mama wanted real freedom for South Africa. What is real freedom? Real freedom means that Africans own their land. Real freedom means that South Africans and Africans all over own their minerals and their natural resources. Real freedom means that Africans own their economy, their politics, and their social life. Real freedom means that Africans own Africa 100%. Two ways about it. And guys, we can never ever talk about owning Africa 100% if we don't free it. And we cannot say that we are freeing Africa if we are not decolonizing Africa. That is the first step that our founding fathers failed, and that is my message today. Decolonizing Africa. Our founding fathers did not even think about, most of them, not all, most of our African founding fathers did not even think about decolonizing Africa before they could have started even governing it. How can you start a country? How can you start governing a country that has been colonized for so long without decolonizing it? How can you say that, now, because we've gotten independence, let's now inherit the colonial systems of the white man and let's use those colonial systems of the white man to govern Africa? Yet those colonial systems were built and designed to keep the African at the bottom of the bottom and to keep the white man at the top of the top. And you wonder why Africa is where it is right now, 60, 70, 80 years later. Because we inherited colonial systems and we are operating under colonial systems, thinking that this is how we can advance and this is how we can thrive. Yet those colonial systems were designed to never ever benefit the African. It was designed to benefit the European. Our founding fathers could have destroyed, that is what decolonization is all about. They could have destroyed those colonial systems in economics, in politics, in social life, in education, in everything, anything colonial. They could have destroyed them and then they could have rebuilt Africa, introducing African systems that have the African people in mind, that have the African people running them 100%. That is what they should have done. Any serious country that was colonized by anyone outside of Africa have decolonized from their colonial systems that were made by their former colonizer. Apart from the African, we are operating in the colonial systems that our colonizer left, thinking that this is the way to go. Look at us right now. Our founding fathers failed us. Our founding fathers failed us. They did not sit down and ask themselves, are we really free if we are still operating under the same economic, social, and political systems that the colonizer made? And these systems were created to put the African under and to put the European over. Surely, are we free when we are operating under these systems? They didn't ask themselves that. They didn't ask themselves, are we really free? Yet we don't own all of our African land. They didn't ask themselves, are we really free? Yet we are educating our African children with the same curriculum, with the same educational system that the white man made to keep the African at the bottom and to keep Europeans at the top. Are we really free if we haven't decolonized Africa? That is what our African founding fathers did not ask themselves. They were just so power hungry to get that power and to use the power that the white man left them to steal land, to steal resources, to steal money, and to continue to use that power to kill and to destroy anyone who's in their way. Who's in their way to steal more, who's in their way to jeopardize their political survival. Let's be honest, including Jomo Kenyatta. Including Jomo Kenyatta of my country, Kenya. He's one of the people I'm talking to right now. Now, here's my message to my generation. Because the previous generations have failed to decolonize Africa, it is our duty, Gen Zs, to do this. To do this. Please, let us try our best to not hand over an undecolonized Africa to the next generation. It will be the biggest mistake that we can ever do to the next generation. To hand over an undecolonized Africa. Now, people are asking me, how can we decolonize Africa? Orina, you're talking about decolonization, so how can we decolonize Africa? No problem. No problem. That's a very, very good question. First of all, we cannot talk about decolonization without us starting with land. L-A-N-D, the most important thing in the world. Everything in this world falls on land. Our African land was stolen from us by white people. You white people, you killed Africans, you displaced Africans so that you can inhabit stolen African land. Okay? No problem. Pack your bags and go. That is how you decolonize the land system. That is how you decolonize African land. There's no two ways about it. You stole African land, pack your bags, and go. No willing buyer, willing seller. You cannot sell African land that you stole from African people. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Africans cannot buy back their African stolen land from you, the thief. No, no, no. No willing buyer, no willing seller nonsense. Pack your bags and go. That is how you decolonize the land system. And I don't want us to continue fearing white people. Black people globally, we fear white people. Who are these white people? They came from us. They came from our genetics. They came from our genetics. All of a sudden, we are fearing them as if they are extraterrestrial beings. No, no, no. You stole African land, pack your bags and go. Let's stop fearing these white people. What are they going to do to us? Other people are not fearing white people here. Iran isn't fearing white people. Who are we? If Iran isn't fearing white people, surely, who are we to fear these white people? Yet they're the ones who came from us. Number two, decolonize the economy. We cannot operate in an extraction colonial economy anymore. We need to move from an extraction colonial economy to a finished product African economy. That is how you decolonize the economy. We cannot inherit the extraction economy where the white man was taking our natural resources, our minerals, take them to Europe to be refined, to be manufactured, to be processed, so they can sell the finished product to us at 100% markup. No, no, no. Let's move the African economy from an extraction economy to a finished product economy. We are owning our minerals 100%. We are owning our natural resources 100%. We are manufacturing them here in Africa, and we are selling the finished product. We are setting our prices. That is the only way. That is the only way. That is the only way you can free the African economy. Decolonizing politics. African politics is heavily controlled by the West and the East, where they install the leader who can do their bidding. It has to stop. It has to stop. Decolonizing religion. Oh, this is now sensitive. This is now sensitive. Because I know people are very, very sensitive when it comes to religions. I know how Africans are. But we need to decolonize it, whether we like it or not. Because for as long as we are subscribing to a religion, you know the name of that religion, I'm not going to mention it. For as long as we are subscribing to a religion that tells me it's okay for my oppressor to oppress me, we will never be free. For as long as we are subscribing to a religion that tells me it's okay to turn the other cheek, and take punishment from my oppressor, we will never be free. For as long as we are subscribing to a religion that presents Jesus as white, the same color of my oppressor, we will never be free. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Decolonizing education. This is one of the most important things. Decolonizing our education that teaches our children to study hard and work hard so they can go get a job, so that they can go use their skills they acquired in Africa to go build America, to go build Europe, to go build Asia, to go build Middle East, to go build anywhere apart from where they come from. Decolonizing education that teaches our children about white theorists and white figures, and not Marcus Garvey, and not Malcolm X, and not Dr. King, and not Medgar Evers, and not Patrice Lumumba, and not about Pan-Africanism, and not how we can reincarnate and modernize and bring back a Garvey movement in the modern era. They don't teach our children that. So we need to decolonize our education, and we need to make sure that before a child graduates from college, they know very well that they're going to use the skill that they learned from school to only advance and to improve Africa. Nothing more, nothing less. And the most important thing, to decolonize the African mind. Decolonizing the African mind. The African mind is the software that runs the African. You guys have phones, you guys have laptops. What happens if you don't update the software of your phone, of your device, of your laptop? What happens to that laptop? What happens to that phone? It starts lagging, and most importantly, and most dangerously, your device is prone to viruses and hackers. My brothers and sisters, until we update the African mind that runs the African from 1.0, which is where we are right now, to 5.0, I'm telling you, we will forever, ever lag in the journey towards freedom, and we will forever, ever be prone to viruses and hackers in form of white supremacy. Let us update the African software so that we stop lagging in this journey of freedom, so that we stop being vulnerable and prone to the virus of white supremacy. Let us update the African software. That is my message to all Africans right now. until we update the African software, which is the African mind that runs the African from 1.0 to 5.0. I'm telling you, we will forever lag in this journey towards freedom, and will forever be prone to viruses and hackers in form of white supremacy. Just like the way, if you don't update your device, it is prone to viruses, it is prone to hackers, and it is also prone to lagging and prone to not functioning well, which is where we are right now as Africans. We are not functioning well because the software hasn't been updated. Let us function well. In order for us to function well, let us update the African software. Let us update the African mind from a colonized one to a decolonized one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.